Ever since high school, I couldn't wait to have my own place. Growing up was rough. My dad drank almost every weekend, sometimes getting aggressive, and my mom was rarely home. She had her own social life and often stayed at friends' houses or with relatives. I wasn't abandoned exactly, but I was mostly alone. By the time I turned 19, I knew I had to leave. College wasn't far from home, but I wasn't going away. My parents refused to pay for dorms or anything fancy, so I had to figure it out myself. Every day I scrolled through rental listings, browsing Craigslist, Zillow, and even local Facebook groups. Finally, I found a small, affordable apartment that seemed perfect. The layout was just right. The living room and dining area were one open space. The kitchen was separated by a small wall. A hallway led to the bedroom with 2 closets I could use for storage, and the bedroom itself was surprisingly large. It fit a queen bed, a couple of dressers, and my TV without feeling cramped. I visited immediately, and the moment I walked in, I knew it was the one. I moved in the next month, feeling a sense of freedom I had never felt before. I finally had my own place. A place where I could relax, bring friends over, and not worry about anyone watching me. A few months later, I ran into a girl I had known from school. Let's call her Sammy. We had never really hung out before, but that night we ended up at my apartment after a few drinks with friends. We watched a movie, drank a little more, and then passed out in the bedroom. Nothing happened beyond that, and I respected her boundaries. At some point in the night, I woke up. The room was dark, and I realized that Sammy wasn't next to me. I assumed she had quietly gotten up and left, maybe to avoid the awkwardness in the morning. I didn't think much of it at first, until I heard something strange. It was a noise from the hallway. Footsteps, faint but deliberate. My heart started racing. My first thought was maybe Sammy is back, but then I remembered. She had left. And the sound wasn't soft or clumsy. It was controlled, careful. Someone was moving around my apartment. I stayed still, listening. The hallway was silent again for a moment, but then I saw it, a shadow at the edge of my vision. I grabbed my phone and switched on the flashlight. And that's when I saw 2 hands gripping the doorframe of my bedroom. I froze. They tightened, then disappeared. My scream ripped through the apartment. My own apartment, the place I thought was safe. I jumped out of bed and checked the hallway. Nothing. I ran to the closets, the bathroom, even the kitchen. Every corner, every hidden space. Empty. My brain was spinning. I had heard the door click when Sammy supposedly left, but it had never been locked. I realized then that this wasn't a hallucination. Someone had been here. I tried calling Sammy, but she had left hours ago. I called my best friend, explaining what happened. He told me I was probably overreacting, that I was tired and drunk, and maybe it was a sleep-deprived hallucination. But deep down, I knew better. I went back to bed, locking the door this time. My mind was racing. Who could it have been? What did they want? Did they take anything? The next morning, I inspected the doorframe. My heart nearly stopped when I saw fingerprints in the exact spots where I had seen the hands. Someone had been inside. Someone I didn't know. I called my dad for advice. He mostly scolded me for not locking the door, but his words didn't make me feel any better. I still didn't know who had been there or why. Fast forward a few years. I was visiting a friend, Cody, after a night out. I ended up sleeping on the pull-out couch in his basement. It was dark, quiet, and usually comforting. But that night, something felt off. At around 3 or 4 a.m., I woke up. My mouth was dry, my body groggy from the alcohol. I noticed a black shape in the corner of the basement. At first, I thought it was a coat rack, maybe a pile of laundry. But as my eyes adjusted, I realized it was moving. A person, watching me. I froze. My heart was pounding. I couldn't scream. Any noise might alert them. I had to think fast.
I started muttering to myself, pretending I was just stretching or complaining about being thirsty. Slowly, I edged towards the stairs. When I glanced back, the figure was at the bottom of the stairs. It had moved closer, and now I was sure this wasn't a prank. This was someone dangerous. I ran up the stairs quietly and woke Cody. Together, we woke his dad and told him there was someone in the basement. The back door was open. Someone had broken in. The police arrived quickly. We searched the basement, backyard, and neighboring yards. The intruder was gone. Luckily, nothing was stolen, but the fear stayed with me for weeks. Later, the cops traced the anonymous calls I had received to an old acquaintance. He claimed his phone had been stolen days before. If that was true, someone had intentionally used his phone to call me and gain access to my home. The thought of it still turns my stomach. Those nights changed me. I learned to never take safety for granted, to always lock doors, and to trust my instincts. I also realized how vulnerable we can be when we feel safe in our own homes. Even years later, when I walk past an open door or hear a strange noise at night, my mind goes back to those nights. The hands on the doorframe, the black figure in the basement, the fear, the adrenaline, the realization that someone else was inside my space while I slept. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear about even crazier nights that I've lived through, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Trust me, the next story is even more terrifying than this one. And let me know in the comments, have you ever woken up and realized someone might have been inside your home? I'd love to hear your experiences.